Welcome back, you off-topic motherfuckers, to another episode of the Off-Topic Podcast. You got the whole gang here today, and we are going to talk about a few different things. First and foremost, Casey Anthony. We're getting into that just a little bit. And then after that, we have 7 cold cases that have to do with children that I have found that we're going to talk about and kind of, just get our little feelings about them because they're still ongoing cold cases. And after that, we might have a little snippet of Kylee doing a book club for us later. But if not, then that's going to be a whole nother episode. So we are just going to get into it. And, of course, my love of my life is reading for us tonight. So I'm going to put this down over here, and we can get into it. But the beginning of this with Casey Anthony, I did a lot of research, but the research that I did I'm saving since we're going to do a deep dive. So I kind of did like an overview on things, and we're just going to talk about what we know or allegedly know type stuff. Yeah.
The only thing I allegedly know is that she killed
Casey.
Yeah. The killing the baby thing, and then she now wants to be a lawyer.
I thought she was trying to be some influencer.
She's on TikTok and she's trying to be a lawyer.
But she
influencer.
She is doing all that, but she's also trying to be an advocate for children and cold cases.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And tell me, okay, so if you're being an advocate, then what are you doing for your child? What kind of advocating
Putting
are
yourself
you
back
doing?
in prison?
First of all. And second of all, what are you doing about finding the killer that's still on the loose?
There ain't no killer on the loose. It's her.
Yeah, there is.
She on the loose. Anywho. Casey Anthony. The Casey Anthony case was a highly publicized case/trial in 2011, centering around the disappearance and death of her 2-year-old daughter, Kylee Anthony. Casey faced charges of murder, but ultimately was acquitted. Kylee Anthony went missing in late June 2008, and her mother initially claimed she was abducted. The investigation was focused on Casey with her behaviors during the 31-day period between Kaylee's last sighting and her reported missing status, raising suspicion.
Facts, because how do you wait a whole month to...
It wasn't even her that reported it. It was her mom. It was the grandma that reported Kylee missing.
Yeah, and then whenever they were questioning Casey, she said that she must have been abducted or must have been kidnapped.
But how
you wait 30 days? How you wait a whole month?
The whole month that she was waiting, she was partying, she was drinking, and poor Kylee was probably in the back of her fucking trunk.
Mm-hmm.
Grimy bitch. At first, Casey was charged with murder, but the prosecution's case relied heavily on circumstantial evidence, including the smell of decomposition in Casey's trunk and the finding of Kaylee's remains.
And circumstantial is in quotation.
If finding the remains is not circumstantial.
Or the fact that there was literally smelled like a dead body in the back of her trunk.
That's not a very easy smell to replicate.
Mm-mm.
And then we're just not going to talk about it. That's just... So because it smelled like a dead body?
No.
Yeah. And they tried to get her with murder. She was in there, but...
The jury acquitted Casey of murder, but convicted her of lying to police, which led to a 2-year sentence, which she served in jail. First of all, as a jury, though... I don't know, I get it. You gotta put your personal feelings aside. And it doesn't matter how you feel, like, you gotta focus on the facts of the case. And I guess the fact of the matter is that the DA does not have hardcore, solid proof.
They could have racked on other charges, though.
They could
Lots
have
of other charges.
tried. I mean, and I don't know.
And there was a lot of things, like, whenever we do the deep dive into it, there was a lot of things on the justice system side that just 2 and 2 equals what?
Yeah, exactly.
And this somehow got lost in translation, or this evidence is now somehow missing, or this evidence wasn't logged.
That sounds like the Cassidy Rainwater case.
That sounds like the last case that the Jane Doe in St. Louis.
And there's a lot, and the justice system doesn't want to own up to it because they don't want to say that they're wrong, or they don't want to say that they missed things. So, like, motherfucker, hello.
The case garnered extensive media attention, with the trial being a major news story. The case sparked debates about the role of the media, the justice system, and the nature of motherhood. Kaylee's Law. In some states, laws were passed to address cases where parents or guardians fail to report a missing child, which sometimes is referred to as Kaylee's Law. To this day, Casey tries to claim she is an advocate for children in memory of Kaylee. Her new social media presence has got everyone fuming. Which is wild to me, because if she only served 2 years in prison, that's why this bitch waited. She acted like we done forgot. Nah, bitch, there's still people that are around that fucking know. But this new generation, and like Lexi's generation and everybody else's, like, in her age group generation, they don't know who Casey Anthony is.
Oh, they do now because of TikTok.
Well, yeah, they do. But at first, they didn't.
Yeah.
But
they had no idea.
Now, because of TikTok, they're trying... They don't know everything. They don't see everything. They don't go back and watch all the documentaries that there are about it. They don't go back and watch all of the things and look at the newspapers, articles, and all of that. They just see what's on TikTok. And I'm sorry, but TikTok twists things so many different ways.
It depends on what side you're on, because all I've seen is people bashing her and telling the story of what happened.
Right. And then there's another side where everyone's like, oh, well, she lost her kid, and you should feel for her. And blah, blah,
because of her own self.
She did.
She murdered that poor baby.
If she didn't, she had something to do with it. If it was not by her hands, she had something to do with it.
Which just makes her just as bad in my book.
And we're going to be going into that in the next episode, or an episode after.
Was
I
the
don't remember it, but...
child's father around?
I don't know that.
Kylee?
Yeah.
You know...
Or did Casey have a boyfriend?
There was a male figure. I don't remember if it was a boyfriend or if it was the father. I'll have to look into that one.
Because there's a lot of cases where the mom just sits there and lets it happen.
Right.
And it's the guy.
And that was like the Gabriel Fernandez case. But at the same time, like, if there was a guy involved, where was he when she was partying? And the grandma didn't say nothing about a dude. The grandma's the one that called 911, which that's what's crazy to me, is if you can't tell me she didn't have a hand in it, or that she didn't do it herself, because your own mother called the cops and said that she's the one that told the cops that she smelled death coming from the trunk of the car.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't neighbors come out and say that they have personally seen Casey leaving, heard Kaylee crying for hours, and then Casey coming back?
I don't know. I would have to look at that, because I really don't know. It was so long ago.
I'll have to.
I just will never forget about that bitch. I'll never forget that name.
I might be getting
she don't deserve to be
together,
out.
But
she does not deserve to be out of prison.
She doesn't deserve the
that baby should be in high
attention
school
that she's getting.
Yeah.
And the social media presence that she's getting. She doesn't deserve any of that, because essentially y'all are paying her. She's getting paid for all that.
Mm-hmm. And using her dead baby like that. Shame on you. As if you didn't do enough already.
Alright, now I'm going to pull up these. We're not going to go much more into that, because we are going to deep dive into it. It's going to be a long one, because there's a lot of things to go over. And a lot of different angles to look at. And we're even going to play the devil's advocate a little bit. It's going to suck, but At the end of the day, we're going to know. We all feel the same way. But there are a couple things that don't...
I mean, I love playing devil's advocate, but I don't know. That's a kid, man.
Okay, and in the visuals, I will put all of these next 7 cases that we are talking about, their pictures up. And they are from Tracky.com. And it was recently updated in 2024, so not very long ago. It was late 2024, too. So all of these are still active cold cases. And the screenshots that you go through, there's a picture with their name at the top. Other way. There's a picture with the name at the top, and then the case after.
Alright. First one is Sarah Kinslow.
That's what I'm guessing.
Kinslow. Sarah Kinslow. First on the list of missing children is Sarah Kinslow. In 2001, the Kinslow family's life changed forever. In May, 14-year-old Sarah was dropped off at her school in Texas. That was the last time her family saw her. Sarah's friends said they planned to skip school that day, but they never saw Sarah again. At the time of Sarah Kinslow's disappearance, Sarah was in a relationship with a man 4 years older than her. He was arrested a week later and charged with sexual assault of a child. He told the police that they had thought about eloping, but he claimed they weren't serious. Sarah didn't take her purse or any clothes with her when she disappeared. Because of this, the police believe she ran away on her own. It's been many years since Sarah vanished, and no one knows what happened to her. Well, I mean, obviously they looked at the boyfriend.
I don't think they looked far enough.
I mean, maybe not, but...
Because...
And Sarah was 14, so this man was 18?
Yeah, and to me, this screams... S-ring all over it.
Yeah.
Trafficking all over it. It screams...
Well, even at that could have been... The boyfriend could have been the connection.
Right.
Like, often they use young men to lure in young women.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've seen it so many times when watching, like, SVU and stuff like that.
Right, and especially with going without a trace at all. And no one getting... There's no leads, there's no...
Well, that's almost like the Springfield 3. I mean, they up and dipped everything, too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how are people just vanishing like this?
And not a lot of people are talking about it. I didn't know about these ones until I looked them up.
Maybe it's all connected to the human meat ring.
Shit.
Second one is Sherry Mahan? I don't know, girl.
We're going to butcher these
Sorry.
names, but...
Leroy McKinney often drove his stepdaughter, Sherry, the short distance from the school bus stop to their mobile home. But on February 22nd, 1985, he and his wife, Janice, decided to let 8-year-old Sherry walk home. A decision they would forever regret. Sherry was last seen wearing a gray coat, blue denim skirt, blue leg warmers, ankle boots, and earmuffs. If that don't tell you what time it was, I don't know what will. It was around 4 p.m. and she was only a short walk away from home when she went missing. Despite the snowy weather, no footprints were found leading to the McKinney's home, leading police to believe she was abducted shortly after getting off the bus. Leroy heard the bus pull up and leave that day. When Cherry, what I don't even know, didn't arrive home a few minutes later, he drove to the bus stop but did not see her. He rushed back home and Janice called the police. That's a little weird to me. I mean, the only clue in Sherry's disappearance was a unique-looking van. Neighbors and children on the bus described it as a bright blue or green 1976 Dodge with a mural or skier going down a snow-capped mountain. Sherry Mahan's case remains one of the most talked about unsolved missing children cases. No arrests have been made, and Sherry is still missing.
That one kind of sounds like a setup because the first time and the only time that they let her walk by herself.
But not only that, but there's no footsteps. I mean,
Right.
what happened? Did she not even step off the bus and somebody grabbed her? Because then what's the bus driver doing?
It had
What
to
are
have
they
been.
paying you for?
It had to have been somebody she known. Because
They could have grabbed her up off the bus.
yeah, true.
And if it was somebody she was excited to see, why would the bus driver think anything different?
Exactly. Because if it wasn't somebody she didn't know, if it was somebody she didn't know, then the bus would have had to have pulled away for them to have no suspicion, right? So then there would have been footsteps.
Right.
At least a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That was a little crazy.
That one just leaves. I got questions. I got lots of questions. And if any of these ones spark your guys' interest, we can go deeper because these are just little overviews. So.
Oh no, that one kind of does.
Yeah, I'd like to know more details on that one.
This is number 3.
Ajit Desar.
Ajit Desar.
Desir.
Desir. Just call him Desir.
Ajit.
6-year-old Ajit was just playing outside his grandmother's house when he mysteriously disappeared. Ajit was with other kids that day. He came inside to eat dinner but went back out to play. His grandmother checked on him from time to time. 15 minutes after she last saw him from the window, she looked again, but Ajit was gone. What worries Ajit's family even more is that he has developmental issues. Although he was 6 years old, he had the mind of a 2-year-old. He easily got scared and hid when frightened. Ajit was also scared of strangers, making his family believe he might have hidden from searchers. Ajit Desir disappeared in January of 2009. Despite the years that have passed, his family still hopes he will come back to them safe and sound.
And mind you, all of these are still open cold cases. So, like, there was already one from 1985. There was one from 01. This one's from 09. So, like, what is happening?
Not even to be insensitive on that one, but, like, with the disabilities, what else are they using him for? Like,
Right?
I don't see, like, not even to be insensitive again, like, I don't see them finding him because what would they, like, what's the purpose of that? What do they need him for?
Like, they definitely, there are people out there that have that sick obsession of just killing and
Exactly.
watching people get hurt.
Or, like I said, this meat ring that we're talking about, like,
Facts.
they don't care disability, color. Maybe people get off on the kicks of disabled kids.
Huh. Chicken. But I don't know. Because there's so many more. Like, this was the very first one that popped up, so I decided to do it because it was one that was recently updated. But there were so many other ones. There was like 10 common cases, 25 common cases, 55 common cases. And they're just all throughout the times. And like, how do people slip under the radar that quickly, that fast, without a trace, and nothing at all? Because I'm sorry, with the last one, I've been so scared to let our kids walk over to Weaver, even though it's 2 houses down.
Yeah.
I was scared of York, but I could see them the whole way. And this time I can see them the whole way, but I don't know. It's just a different vibe over here.
I lived 2 houses down, and my mom wouldn't let me walk home from school. She let me walk to school, but not home from school. It was a lot less busy.
I don't know, man.
On the way to school, so she could watch me, she could see me the whole time I was walking there because it wasn't
Right.
a crowd of people. But after school, it was too crowded, too many people. She wouldn't let me walk.
I understand it, for sure. And, like, are we supposed to let them walk this way down the busy fucking street, or do we let them go down the alleyway and then around the park where we can't see them anymore? Like, bro.
You should air tag them.
If you think about it, we already got a Life 360.
Do, like, the little air tag and, like, the little lip
their
part
shoe.
of their shoe, yeah.
Something.
Backpack. Cut a hole in the back. Nah. I feel like kidnappers
First
throw the
thing they did
backpack,
was the
yeah.
backpack.
You know, the shoes.
The next one's Madeline McCann, and that's one that I think you should deep dive on. This one's just wild. Like, going on vacation and your kid going up missing, but then, like, potentially one of your friends being involved is The McCann family from Lancashire were on holiday in Algarve. Portugal, when 3-year-old Madeline went missing on May 3rd, 2007. Madeline's parent, Gary and Kate McCann, both doctors, decided to have dinner at a tapas bar 120 meters away from their apartment. They left Madeline and her toddler twin siblings, Sean and Amelia, sleeping in the rented room. But 120 meters sounds far away, but in all the documentaries and stuff that they showed, it was literally like from the couch to like our back porch. Like if the walls were right, like you could see the door and everything, like the back porch into the house. And this was 2007. I mean, this is in 2025. Like, you couldn't do that now.
Yeah, but you can't hear someone break the window or open the door or something like that because you're inside of a restaurant.
They were outside on a balcony in the restaurant. But still.
Yeah.
You could hear something and you could think it was this way, but really it was at your house.
Right. That's like that girl that left her kids in the hotel room while she was on the cruise.
But what this doesn't look like it's saying is they were doing routine checks. Like, it only says right here, around 10 p.m., Kate returned to check on the children and was shocked to find only the twins in the room. Madeline was gone. But they had checked on there previously. Like, I think they were doing, like, 30-minute...
So they were being
somebody
diligent.
Was getting up and going and checking. And when she went to check around 10, Madeline was gone. Madeline's disappearance made worldwide headlines, leading to a massive investigation. Despite countless leads and theories, ranging from abduction by a trafficking ring to a burglary gone wrong, Madeline has never been found. The search for her continues to this day.
Does this say, like, gender of the twins or anything?
Sean and Amelia, so I'd assume girl and boy, but... I know
That's
a
odd
few
why they
women named Sean.
So. Were younger, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but I would... Younger or not, you would still think that they would take the other little girl.
And that's why, like, in the documentaries and stuff, it goes into more depth on it, and that's why I think that you should deep dive, because it's sketch. I mean, I think one of the friends was in on it, that they were eating dinner with. There's somebody that saw them. Like, I think there's more to this story than what people are researching.
Or, like, what if the parents needed money, so they set it up?
I mean, they're doctors, so they'd have to get themselves into some shit for them to need some money. Like, you're going to a holiday in Portugal?
No, that's they live there.
Nope, we're on holiday.
Oh.
In Portugal.
Oh, that was their rental.
Yeah. They were from Lanchester. Oh no, there's no N.
Where? Leicester?
Yeah. Whatever.
Where the fuck ever?
Next one is Lisa Irwin. Lisa Irwin was not even a year old when she disappeared. In 2011, her mom, Deborah Bradley, tucked her into bed one night and then had a few drinks. When Lisa's father, Jeremy, got home from work at 3 a.m., he noticed Lisa was not in her crib. It was believed that Deborah had too much to drink and blacked out. Several working cell phones were also missing. Because Deborah was the only one home at the time, she faced suspicions. However, she has always maintained her innocence. Deborah and Jeremy still hope that Lisa will come back to them alive even years after she vanished. So this mom blackout drunk, and we just gonna think that she's not. And I'm not downing a mom that drinks or a mom that gets drunk, but like, you got blackout drunk. Your baby wasn't even a year old, and your baby's gone.
Even if you're at home, even if your house is locked, like if you're blackout drunk and you don't hear it, and somebody breaks in and takes your kid, like.
And why are you getting that drunk? Like, you can get drunk without getting blackout drunk. You can get drunk and wait for your other to get home and then get blackout drunk, if that's what you want to do. Your baby's not even a year old yet.
Right. Like, it still needs your tit if you're
sleeping.
Breastfeeding. And back in, 2011, though, that's not, there's formula and shit, but still.
Oop.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Intermission.
Off topic. Yeah.
Next up is Kyron Horman. Kyron Horman was born on September 9th, 2002, and was only 7 years old when he disappeared without a trace. On June 4th, 2010, Skyline Elementary in Oregon opened early for a science fair. Kyron arrived at school with his stepmom, Terry Moulton Horman. Shortly after 8, after watching Kyron walk to his classroom, Terry left. The last sighting of Kyron was at 9 a.m. by a student near the south entrance of Skyline School. When classes started at 10 a.m., Kyron's homeroom teacher reported him absent because he was nowhere to be seen. Years later, Kyron remains missing. Suspicions fell on his stepmother, who maintained she had nothing to do with his disappearance. Kyron's case is one of the most well-known missing children's cases. His parents, Desiree Young and Kane Horman, are still waiting for their son to come back, despite the lack of leads on his whereabouts. Okay, I think it's kind of fucked that the suspicion is lying on the stepmom whenever the stepmom left at 8 and he was cited at 9.
Like, you are in the school's presence, you are underneath the school's
right,
supervision.
so for a whole hour, he was at that school and cited while the stepmom was gone.
Mm-hmm. And if somebody signed him out or didn't sign the paper, that's on the school.
Yeah.
Somebody picked him up and they didn't sign the paper or they didn't check on who it is, that's on the school.
Right. So I think it's a little messed up.
Because I don't think a kid would just straight up walk out of the school and then just never show up again.
I mean, I do. I believe that a kid can walk out of the school and get snatched up and never fucking come back.
I mean, yeah.
In essence, that's what happened to this kid. Sabrina...
Was that part of it too?
I already read it.
Hey! Slide down.
Listen, I got cracks.
She wasn't doing the right thing.
Number 7. Sabrina Eisenberg. Sabrina Eisenberg was only 4 months old when she was taken from her crib in November of 1997.
4 months old.
Her mother put her to sleep one night, not knowing it would be the last time she saw her daughter. Sabrina's mother, Marlene, told the police her baby was still there at midnight, but when she checked again at 7 a.m., Sabrina was gone. There were no witnesses, no sounds heard, and no signs of forced entry. It's been over 2 decades since Sabrina disappeared. She would have turned 21 this year. But despite many efforts to find her, nobody knows where she is or if she's still alive. The pain that the parents of missing children endure is indescribable. They wake up every day knowing that a family member is missing, but even after all these years, they remain hopeful that one day their family will be complete again.
I'm putting those little alarm thingies on the window and the door of my child's room when I have a child. I swear to God. I swear to God.
Being a parent, the fear is unreal, yes. And the knowing that the world is so fucked up makes the fear even worse, yes. But you have to limit yourself on how much of a helicopter you can be.
But those aren't bad.
No, but I'm just saying, like, and that was what, 1997 or 1997.
Yeah, no, we got technology now. I could
Yeah.
put a beeper on the door and the window. Somebody tries to open it.
Facts. But this was 1997. You wouldn't think that shit would actually really happen, but
It still happened. It was just less.
Why you think I want my
often.
kid to be sleeping in the room with me all the damn time? But I can't because they're older now. But whenever we have a baby, that baby's sleeping in our room.
Yep.
That's happening. That.
Well, yeah, I ain't gonna get up and walk halfway across this goddamn house to go get that baby.
Nah, because then whichever room it would be in, with one of the other kids would be like carrying it to us, like, take your fucking kid.
Okay.
A little bit, yeah.
I did not hear a fucking thing you just said.
I haven't done the outro yet.
Oh.
Yeah. Unless, do you want to do the outro this time?
Do that outro, babe. Do that outro, babe. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Off Topic, and we'll see you guys next week. Please like, subscribe, share, and thank you guys. Have
Let
a good
us
one.
know what you think. Bye.
Bye!
You won't say bye, you ain't said shit over
Bye.
there.
Oh, Liddy.